Hello, everyone. You're welcome to Lawyers Info Hub. It's a pleasure to have you here. If you're new to this channel,
Thank
this is
you.
Lawyers Info Hub. It's a platform where we share law tips, we create content that will help you become better in your practice. Even as a law student, we help you to become a better law student, a better advocate. It's a glad thing for me today to have this special series on preparing for retirement as a lawyer. Many lawyers are eager to flourish, they are eager to be the best, but they do not have any plan for retirement. So today is a pleasure to have a special guest here to discuss this issue of preparing for retirement as a lawyer. You're welcome, sir. We are happy to
Thank
have
you
you.
for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So we
Thank
have in
you.
our midst today Dr. Oyema
Thank,
Otutodiri. Yes, a very senior lecturer in Imo State University. You're welcome, sir.
thank
So,
you.
sir,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you once more.
based on what we are discussing on retirement plan for lawyer, ways lawyers can prepare themselves for retirement. Do you think lawyers really retire in the real sense of it?
All right. Thank you so much. When we talk about retirement, I think it will be better for us to first of all understand the meaning of retirement.
Okay, sir.
If you look at the definition of retirement as contained in the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary,
Yes, sir.
therein retirement is defined as the fact of stopping work
Okay.
because you have reached a particular age.
Age.
The time when you do this. Yeah, it went further to say that it is also the period of years, period of your life after you have stopped work at a particular age.
Age. Okay.
So, which means in the real sense of it, lawyers actually retire. There
Okay.
will be a time in your life when you will stop work.
Of course.
Um, Even though, yes, the legal practitioner as it is, the moment you are called to bar, you become a
Yes.
lawyer for life.
Of course.
And we also know that there are colleagues of ours who are working in the ministry, like some of us who are working in public institutions,
Issues.
being
Yes.
a lecturer, there will be a particular age of retirement. Now,
Okay.
that's the retirement, statutory retirement as it relates to people working with government. But
Yeah.
as a private practitioner, there is no age limit set for a lawyer to retire.
Of
But
course.
we know very well that in the research of it, it will get to a point in your life when you can no longer work owing
Yeah.
to some reasons. And at that point, your retirement setting.
Of
Thank you.
course. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. A point in our life when you can no longer work as you used to because of maybe certain reasons. Could be age. It could be health issues. It could be that you have also decided to what stop. Yeah. So what as a lawyer who
Yes.
is in active service, what are those things a lawyer can do to help him cater for his retirement years? Those things a lawyer can do to help him cater for his retirement years.
Yeah, let me say briefly here that
Yeah.
some of the things a lawyer should do to cater for his retirement, for me, can be seen from the following.
Okay,
One,
sir.
the need for planning, proper planning. A
Okay.
lawyer should plan very well. If you're a lawyer and you think every day you make a little money, you go home and eat that one, the next day you jump out of the street again,
Yeah.
you are not planning, thinking of how the future will be, thinking of building houses for yourself, thinking of setting up your own office or partnering with colleagues to set
Other
up a
people.
bigger office, then you have gotten it all wrong. And of course, again, avoiding procrastinations.
Yeah.
I've seen that part of the challenges we have is that you see our colleagues, they will keep on procrastinating. Next year, I will start doing this. The other
Yeah.
one, I will start doing. Procrastination is a destiny killer.
Hmm.
So if you're in that spirit of always procrastinating when you will do something that you ought to start immediately, of
Immediately.
course you have not started. And it's definitely going to affect your retirement age. I
Okay.
also think they need to provide basic things of life.
Okay.
Um, well, the fact that you are getting enough money now and enjoying whatever you feel you want to enjoy now,
Okay.
you also remember that there will be a time when you will no longer be fit to do all those things again.
Yeah.
And at that moment, there is need to provide those basic needs. Now that we are
Mm.
stronger, like for
Yeah.
instance, when I see our colleagues only getting involved or being interested in acquiring all manner of fleet of cars, I
Yeah.
think yeah, it's good for a lawyer to have a car, but you
Yeah.
won't be having those fleet of cars in someone's apartment. You stay in
Of
a
course.
rented apartment and you park all the cars there. You're not thinking of building your own. You're not,
Yeah.
in the village, you don't have a house. In the town where you live, you don't have a house. And of course, you probably the office apartment is also under rent. And in that kind of life and situation, it will definitely affect the life of that lawyer at the retirement age. So
Yeah.
some of these factors, like I summarized them, avoiding procrastination, proper
Mm.
planning, and
Evening.
providing basic things of life will definitely
Yeah.
help the lawyer to prepare for retirement age.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so looking at it in building structures in practice, sometimes you've seen great lawyers who at their older age or when they are aging, you don't hear anything about their law practice again. You don't hear anything about their law firm again.
Yeah.
Everything goes down with them. So, what are those ways a lawyer can leave a legacy, building practice structures that will outlive them? So
Yeah.
that even if they are no more alive, their name will not go down the drain. Their practice still survives after they are no more.
All right. If I get the question correctly, I think he's
Yeah.
talking about leaving a legacy,
Yes, sir.
sustainable legacy.
Yes.
For me, I've always advocated for sustainable development. You may
Okay.
achieve development today, but if that development is not sustainable, then of
Hmm.
course that is not development. So
Yeah.
what we should be pushing for now is a sustainable legacy, a
Yeah.
legacy that will endure even after your life on this earth.
Hmm.
And for that to be achieved, one of the greatest things um, our colleagues should be doing is to go into partnership.
Okay.
Now, in my early days of practice here, I discovered that every nook and cranny in the town here, you will see one law firm.
Or
Some
the
of them are
other.
in one room, some in two rooms, some in three-bedroom apartments.
Yeah.
But nobody thinking of our coming together, pulling our resources together.
Yes, sir.
Probably have one of the best buildings that you will see almost 20, 30, 40, 50 lawyers working together.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they need to build strong partnership is what we should be thinking of now. And this is one of the
Okay.
ways you can have a lasting legacy, a sustainable legacy.
Legacy.
Now, I have also seen that most lawyers, and I have to sound this as a note of warning, where
Okay.
lawyers force their children to go and study law in the contemplation that when they die, those the children
Children.
or the wife will take over the law firm. But you forgot that at the end of the day, that your child you have struggled to make a lawyer, may not be interested even in that your law firm.
Of course.
And of course, that's a problem. But if you think outside you, think of that law firm, seeing it as it's just like we know the position of law relating to corporate
Personally.
companies. We know that
Yes.
they are different entity from the owners of that company. And
Of course.
the moment lawyers start realizing that that law firm they have that is different from them, that law firm is something that should uplift them. And how can you
Okay.
do that? You can do that through strong institution of partnership.
Okay.
So we should advocate for partnership for us to leave legacies in our law firms.
Yes. So now talking about partnership, we see that partnership is not so common in the eastern parts of this country, but in the west, you see lawyers coming together to build partnerships. So no, let's in talking about partnership. Why are people afraid to go into partnership? Why are there no partnership so much in the eastern part of the country, especially where people feel it's about me. me alone, I alone, and all of that. So why is there a decline in partnership, or why are people afraid to go into partnerships, especially for young lawyers who are coming up, who can do better things when they partner together? Why are they afraid?
Of course, if you look at the real meaning of partnership,
Yeah.
you understand that one of the things that people are afraid of when it comes to partnership is the issue of trust. And
Okay.
for me, another thing is the issue of accountability.
Okay.
Now, these are factors that partners should try to resolve. If you can build trust, if there's trust amongst the partners, if you
Okay.
can have accountability, probably in the course of setting up the law firm, you have an office firm account where all monies will be paid and you have an agreement how the money should be shared and all that.
Yes.
Then, of course, if you do that, you sustain the partnership. So most times, like you noted, over there in the West, you see so many people coming together to set up a partnership.
Yes.
But here in the East here, it's just few firms that are into partnership. We try to run it here. We have established a law firm here where you have people coming together, having almost 6, 7 lawyers coming together, standing to make sure that we sustain the goal of the
Okay.
firm. Now, let me also say this again. In my early days of practice, I discovered that lawyers will always want their name to be displayed at the notice
Well,
at the notice board or entrance notice board,
yeah.
multitude and co. This and
So
that. Now,
you
when
can
you
find.
make it, yes, when you use those names that are personal, it
Yeah.
doesn't give room. It doesn't accommodate other partners coming in.
Of course.
I, for instance, when I wanted to choose a name for my firm,
Yeah.
I never thought about using Onye Motitodere and Co. Now
Yeah.
that will make people who are working with me or partners who are associating with me to think they are not part of the name.
Name.
Now we jettison the issue of personal name and
Name.
use a neutral name, advanced chambers. And of
Yeah.
course, even if I'm not here and you're a colleague, a partner in the firm, and you say I'm working in advanced firm, it's my law firm, it gives
Yeah.
you that sense of belonging.
Of course.
So
Hmm.
most often I have advocated that lawyers should start changing this nomenclature using their personal names.
Name.
Uh, Onye Motitodere and Co. Why
Yeah.
must it be only you? Why don't you go for a name that will be all encompassing, where
Sure.
colleagues will have that sense of belonging? So that somebody
Hmm.
comes into the firm and say, yo, is this advanced chairman? I'm looking for so person. The person
Yeah.
comes up and say, yes, this is advanced chairman. You're welcome.
Yes.
And most people I remember and they recall vividly when in my early days of practice, when they come into a law firm that has a personalized name,
Yeah.
when they come, they will tell you they are looking for that person, that's Onyema. They won't even know
Have
that
trust.
everyone working there can contribute. Because
Yes.
for them, so a signpost written Onyema. So their mind is
Yeah.
that they want to see Onyema. So that
Yeah.
so I think also for us to build institutions based on partnership, we also have to think of the name we're using. We have to see how we can, like I told you now, in my
Yeah.
own law firm is advanced chambers. It's not about me. It's all about all the lawyers working in the firm, all the partners coming together to build and develop advanced chambers.
Hmm. Okay, thank you, sir. So now let's look at alternative legal careers lawyers can venture into doing when they want to retire. They are no more in active practice. What are other things they can do within our laws, permitted, within our laws, that, that can help them keep alive, not being redundant. So let's talk about those alternative legal careers. What are those things you feel a lawyer can step in to do while he or she has advanced in age, has retired in the parastatal where they work, or they are out from out active legal practice?
All right. Talking about other things a lawyer can do,
Yeah.
we must surely look at the economy the way it is and the
Mm.
impact, the effect, the way lawyers are feeling the economic issues in our nation.
Okay.
At the time, I joked with a friend and I said, lawyers are becoming endangered species.
Yeah.
Every day, if there is strike, lawyers will not go to court and
But
they will lose. Nobody is paying a lawyer personal money, except those who are engaged with government or other parastatals. But
Yes.
if you're a private legal practitioner and there is an industrial action in back upon by judicial staff or even the nation at large, definitely
Yes.
within that period you will not earn anything.
Of
Now,
course.
the last time we witnessed what happened during the COVID-19 era,
Mm.
lawyers everywhere was locked up, law firms, nobody was going to court, and lawyers were mostly affected. I must say that we were mostly affected because I saw at a point some of our colleagues were asking for palliatives, even the younger lawyers. Now,
Yeah.
when you look at these indices, you now discover is there a way lawyers can find a living outside core legal practice?
Okay.
But for us to do that, you know that we have rules of professional conduct regulating the conduct of lawyers. So that
Yes.
when we want to advise that lawyers should engage in business or do another alternative
Mm.
something in addition,
Yeah.
we have to look at what our rules are saying. And that takes me, if you allow me, I'll read that to you.
Yes.
If you look at Rule 7 of the Rules of Professional Conduct,
Conduct. Yes.
paragraph 1 says, unless permitted by the General Counsel of the Bar,
Mm.
hereinafter referred to as the Bar Council,
Okay.
a lawyer shall not practice as a legal practitioner at the same time as he practices any other profession.
Yes.
Now, sub 2 says, a lawyer shall not practice as a legal practitioner while personally engaged in A, the business of buying and selling commodities,
Okay.
B, the business of a commission agent,
Okay.
C, such other trade or business which the Bar Council may from time to time declare to be compatible with the practice as a lawyer or as tending to undermine the high standing of the profession.
Yes.
So, you know, we're lawyers. So, when we want to give advice, we have to give it based on what the law is saying
Lord saying,
and
yeah.
the rules of professional conduct. So when I say that lawyers should engage in any other thing, maybe fine because of the economy, that we have to
Yeah.
do that and all that in addition to our normal legal practice, that may
Yes.
run contrary to what the law is saying.
Lord saying,
But having read out the provisions of the rules of professional conduct regarding to alternative business,
yes.
all of us are aware. That's why I've seen the social media and some other platforms where lawyers are clamoring. They said, why would they make such rules? And go there and go and concentrate in practice before you know it, you go
Yes.
down. So people are really worried about the provisions of this law, but fine, well and good. A lawyer is known for his prestige. We have a kind of prestige attached to
Prestige.
our profession. And when
Yeah.
they came up with these rules, the idea was that at the end of the day, so that you won't see somebody who claimed to be a lawyer being on a suit, and before you know
Mm.
it, you see him at a marketplace where he's selling garri. So the law now tries to see how we can protect the dignity of lawyers. But
Yes.
I must say that time and the era has come when lawyers can also find something that will be dignifying as an
Mm-hmm.
alternative to making income. And
Okay.
I don't see anything wrong, for instance, if you're a lawyer and you set up a business, provided you are not personally engaged, because the law is
Mm.
against you doing it and being personally engaged. Imagine a
Engage.
lawyer going to the market there, you are selling a goosey, after selling it, you will go to the office. In that case, you are personally engaged, and the law says you cannot do that in
Yeah.
addition to your practice as a lawyer. But
Lawyer.
if, for instance, let's be more realistic, I have
Okay.
money and I want to create an alternative, and I say, okay, I
Okay.
have a cousin, I have a friend who is very good in this thing. I said, okay, let me set it up. You go and manage it,
Manage it.
right? You see somebody who
Yes.
is managing it for you, doing that business for you, not you personally doing it.
Being involved.
Will come, yes, it will run foul of this provision. But
Provisions
so
of the
the
law.
point is that lawyers should think the important thing that we are trying to do is to preserve the
The
dignity of our,
integrity.
yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
my dear. And at the end of the day, be sure that all we're saying is that instead of lawyers dying of hunger, instead of lawyers not having anything to feed on, can we find other things we'll be doing in alternative to private? We know the number of lawyers we have in Nigeria and we know how the economy is.
Lawyer.
We know how many people
Yeah.
that are even patronizing our services. But if
Yeah.
you must do this, you must have regards to the provisions of the rules of professional conduct. But I think by and large, a lawyer in his wisdom can find a way of having certain things done by way of investment and getting other people to do all those things for them.
Yes. Now you talked about investment and savings. I want us to talk about investment and savings. Earlier in this discussion, you've made mention of lawyers buying fleet of cars, um, not knowing that money you may not be able to make so much as you're making now in the near future. We've seen young lawyers who come out of law school, they are working, they're able to see money because they have the strength to do maybe three or four things at the same time. They're making so much and they just feel I can make more by tomorrow. We talk about procrastination. So how can a young lawyer, how can an older lawyer who is approaching the retirement age save and invest for the rainy days? For those times he or she will no longer be in active legal practice.
All right. The investment is all about planning, right?
Yes.
And the moment you want to invest, you start by planning. And
Mm,
in planning, you have to put certain things into consideration. You are looking at your age, even the business you want to do. You are looking
yes.
at your age. You are looking at your present age and the lifetime you will live in this earth.
Yes.
Now, the point is this: for we lawyers and for us to invest to take care of ourselves at the old age, there are quite a lot of things lawyers can do. I have seen that most lawyers who work so hard and were prudent enough to save what they have made, some of them will take the part of the money, build houses, and have tenants living therein, right? Not those fleet of cars that at the end of the day,
Mm,
after 1 year or 2 years, they are no longer there. Now,
yes.
since you know that nobody would give you any money, in fact, most times when I'm driving around the road and see some older lawyers trekking
Mm,
on the road, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Now, remember, when we talk about investment, investing in your family, your children, and your wife is part of investment.
of course.
Making sure that those children will acquire good education. Because at the end of the day, when you're weak, they are the ones that will take care of you.
Of course.
Now, some of us are not even bothered how to train their children. At least you
Mm,
must get the family intact. The family has to be very solid.
mm,
If your wife is not doing something, what are you thinking about your wife? Because tomorrow, if you don't have anything, you can fall back. The woman can support you. Are you
of
training
course.
the children to be better people in the society? So that at the age of 20, 25, those that children have graduated from the university, some of them are already working, sending some money to that's part of investment. Because actually, when we talk about it, people tend to misconceive investment in terms of what you personally can
Have.
achieve. The first part of investment is human investment.
Yes.
How many people have you been helped out? Like now that we're saying, okay, part of the things a lawyer can do, rather than doing all those personally engage in those business, you can also have
Mm,
other people doing it.
for
Now, if
you.
you set up that business and somebody is managing it very well, and at the end point of retirement, something is coming from that angle, you have an honest fellow you are working with.
Mm,
That is part of an investment. Now, personally on us as lawyers, what of building those houses that tenants can live in so that at the
mm.
end of the day you can be getting something from it? Are we together? Well, the
Yes,
point
sir.
is that nobody will give you anything when you retire, except people who actually appreciated what one or two things you did for them while alive, and then the personal things you were able to acquire.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you how to reduce the burden on the part of a lawyer. If you're a lawyer, you don't have a house in the, you know how our people rate
Draft.
lawyers, particularly in the eastern part of our country here. They want to know
Yeah.
whether you even have a house in in your
Mm,
village, in the town where you live. Do you have a place where you live? The
mm,
office is it under rented apartment? Now,
mm,
imagine a lawyer. Number one, you don't have a house in the village. The town where you live, you don't have a house. Your
mm,
office is under rented apartment,
mm.
and then you are clocking will die.
Mm. It's going to be tough.
All right, I think it went off.
Yeah, you were saying when you don't have those basic things, but you don't have your office on rentage, your house, the burden will be too much.
Yes,
Yeah.
at the retirement age, you not see
Yes.
much burden on you.
Yes.
But if you can do all those things at early stage, start thinking
Okay.
on how to build a house for the family. Start
Yes.
thinking on how to own an office apartment of your own through either
Yes.
through personally or through partnership, as we advocated earlier. And start
Earlier.
thinking of putting up something for the children, for the family in the village. So that
Hmm.
if you have all these things resolved, life will be more comfortable at the retirement age.
That is retirement age.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, sir, let's look at young lawyers. You see, sometimes the MDA have been trying to pick up issue of remuneration, trying to have uh, a level ground in that area. Now, for a young lawyer who will watch this video, who peradventure is not even earning so much, and is asking him or herself, how will I be able to even take care of myself, talk more of make plans towards retirement? I'm not even earning so much. Many lawyers are not being paid. Many lawyers are just managing just to see their daily food. Many, especially young lawyers. So, and they don't know, for some of them don't even know how to break through. So for those class of people who are still trying to struggle to make ends meet, they just live on appearance fees alone. They don't even have so much. What advice do you have for them? Since we are still talking about having a long-term plan towards exiting the practice, exiting active life, what advice do you have for them when they see this video? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is that young colleagues should not be discouraged by one or two things they are seeing in the practice. And again, we must also realize the fact that every senior lawyer was once a junior lawyer.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when you now look up and see some successful senior lawyers, yes, it sends some signal to you that definitely is either you will get to the level of that person or even get to a more higher level than that person. So there is a hope in the profession. But the only thing is that, like we said earlier, we have to plan our life very well. Let
Yes.
us set the economists, of course, remember, they didn't make a mistake when they said there is something they called scale of preference and choice.
Yes.
That's realizing that human wants are insatiable. They said, okay, can you draw a scale of preference in order of the needs? I
Priority.
need a cook, I need a car, I need an office, I need a house. Now
Yes.
you have a scale of preference. Now be consistent in taking a choice. One after the what? The other. You won't
Other.
kill yourself. You want to marry, you want to get a car, you want to get a house of your at least get a house, you want to send some money home to your parents that took care of you. These are
Yes.
problems. You don't need
You
to
want
kill
to do a
yourself.
postgraduate studies,
You want to be a
everything.
postgraduate student, you want to travel outside. At a
Ah,
point, the whole thing is a lot of headaches to them. But I
yeah.
think, by and large, what is important that every senior lawyer was once a junior lawyer. And if they plan and pass through that ladder to get to a level and a kind of a height that all of us are proud of, then
Oh,
any young lawyer can also get to that level. It's all about plan, like all these things we are discussing now, putting them into practice. Have
practice.
patience, work hard, save the little, plan one thing after the other. Before you know it, you will get to that level.
Everything. Yeah, as we wrap up, sir, I want us to talk about raising successors and issue of mentoring. The issue of mentoring cannot be overemphasized. Many lawyers lack mentoring. They lack that mentoring platform, or they don't even want to be mentored. So let's look at issue of raising successors and issue of mentoring. How older lawyers can mentor young lawyers to replicate themselves in them at the long run. So, what are the ways you think of we can raise senior lawyers can raise successors, and how they can also mentor the young ones to be like them or even surpass them?
All right. You agree with me that when it comes to mentorship,
Yeah,
it's two people that are involved.
yeah,
At the end of the day, they must agree.
yeah,
And there are people you want to carry along. they find it difficult to follow.
Yes.
There are people too, the moment you want to carry them along, they will definitely walk in a manner that will even surprise you.
Yeah.
Now, I think as a junior lawyer, for instance, it's
Yeah.
up to you to look up to somebody that will be a mentor,
Okay.
right? I
Yeah.
cannot force myself on you to be a mentor. You look up to
Okay.
me to say, I want you to mentor me. And
Yeah.
in the ladder of that mentorship, you have to follow. You have to be a good follower. You have to, one, because on the part of the person who is mentoring you, now it is duty to be open-minded and show you some of the things that will help you to grow in life. I say
Yeah.
this without missing the point. Most people who are in that position, some senior lawyers, will not
Yeah.
divulge certain life successful secrets to the younger
Mm.
ones. There are
Of course.
things you'll be doing, you have to carry the younger ones out. In fact, most times
Along.
in my law firm, when I want to charge, for instance, I want to charge a client for a job or professional fee. Now, I will get my juniors to come and be part of the process. So they will
Mm-hmm.
even know how to get the money from the client.
Yeah.
You know, one difficult thing is even how to get the money from the client.
Of course.
So how do you do it? Of course, some people will get, they have potential customer clients that will give them or pay highly for the services they are rendering, but because they don't know how to collect the money from them, it's a
Mm.
problem. So you need to have someone who will even teach you all those secrets. There are ways.
Okay.
I tell people the moment somebody has a problem and is coming to you to talk to you as a lawyer, that's a potential customer, is a potential client. It
Yes.
depends on how you go about it. Every problem of a client will not always end up in court. We know that there are some clients that will come, you can advise them, knowing that they don't have a cause of action. You can say, okay, let's do a legal letter, let's do a
Yes.
warning letter. That warning
Yes.
letter you will write is not money.
It is.
But because you have seen that there's no cause of action, does it mean that, yeah, the man who is crying, feeling that he has
The
something that's
right.
bothering him, you have not provided a solution. So if going to court will not work, probably on the basis that there's no cause of action, what of writing a warning letter? What
Yes.
of even writing a petition for the police to investigate whatever the cause, if it's a criminal
Yes.
matter? Now,
Yes.
when you are doing all that, it's not money that you are making. So the
It is.
important thing is that we should be in a position to open up to our younger colleagues. We
Yes.
should tell them, let them understand how it works. Because by the time you become so secretive, you want to charge money. When it comes to money, you lock up your door and tell them to go and wait outside.
It does it.
You're not opening up. You're not a,
Yeah.
yes, you're not a good person. So you must be open to them. You must show them the way because you did, they will follow.
Of course.
So that's the little I have to say about that. Let
Yeah.
there be openness in the dealings.
Yeah. So, sir, as a law teacher, do you think this issue of planning for retirement should be incorporated in our curriculum, both at the undergraduate and at the law school?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
I said, sir, as a law teacher, do you think teaching the law students at the law school and at the undergraduate level on how to prepare for retirement, do you think it should be incorporated in our curriculum so that even as a student, they are aware of how to manage themselves up to the point of retirement? Do you think it should be incorporated in our curriculum?
All right. Let me say that no knowledge is a waste,
Okay.
right? No knowledge
Yes,
is
sir.
a waste.
Yeah.
And everything we labor in life is to make life comfortable.
Of course.
So I think the earlier we start inculcating the right spirit in those our students, the better for them. So if
Okay.
there's any way we can find a way of incorporating it, so I will teach them life situations, real life situation, not imaginary life, real life
Yes.
situation, what they will face, the challenges, like as we are talking now, the
Yes.
challenges they may face. You need to let them understand. In fact, in the course of my lectures with my students, after the lecture, I take a little 1 or 2 minutes to talk to them, things that
Yes.
will make them successful lawyers. Now, the fact that you're a law student sitting down does not mean that you shouldn't be thinking how you can make money. You should be thinking about the future and how the future will look like.
Yes.
So we own a duty, if it is possible, we incorporate it as part of the curriculum so that we will teach them.
Life.
Because after school, there's another life.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So it's been a wonderful discussion. Preparing for retirement as a lawyer. This is amazing. Many people feel they will be forever young. Many
Thank
people
you.
feel like I'm going to have it all till the end of my life. Many people feel like let's eat what we have now. Tomorrow will be better. So many people feel that preparing for retirement is a waste of time. But thank you for dousing those fears, teaching us what we need to do, issue of planning, avoiding procrastination, saving, investment, how to collaborate with others to build a legacy. So that at the end of the day, even if you're not there, our name still stands. What we stand for still stands. Legacy, building a legacy is one thing, sustaining that legacy is another thing. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming on the show. We are very grateful. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
what
having
you're
me.
doing in your capacity as a law teacher. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much, sir.
God bless you, dear.
Yeah, thank you.
I
Have a
appreciate
nice
it.
day. Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.